don't many things we don't lost. It in the be like highway.
The United States Senate has spent an entire week debating a problem that essentially does not exist. The goal of the SAVE Act that is on the floor right now is to make certain that non-citizens do not vote in American elections. And the good news is that non-citizens do not vote in American elections. Study after study has shown that the number of undocumented immigrants voting in American elections is virtually non-existent. We are debating a problem that does not exist. The Conservative Heritage Foundation found that over a recent 24-year period, there have been a grand total of 77 confirmed instances of undocumented immigrants voting in the United States. Hundreds of millions of people voted in a 24-year period, and there were 77 instances of non-citizens voting. Under this bill, every American would be required to have a passport or a birth certificate in order to register to vote. Now, what's wrong with that? Just think, do you have a birth certificate? How are you going to get a birth certificate? How many weeks, months? How much does it cost? Those who would need a passport to vote under this bill would have to spend $130 to renew a passport or $165 for a new one. And by the way, you're going to have to wait up to 6 weeks to get it. So, make no mistake about it. This legislation is nothing more than a modern-day poll tax that would deprive millions of low-income, working-class Americans from being able to vote. Instead of spending a week on a non-existent problem, maybe it's time we started to focus on some of the enormous crises facing our country.
You're on mute.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. Sorry about that. We're working class people here. We do not have corporate backers, so apologize for the delay. And I see there's some people that are watching, so thank you so much for waiting. Sorry about the delay. Again, we don't have any corporate backers. I guess this is a good time to plug in. If you appreciate the show, you got $5, $20, whatever, please donate. I have a Cash App. It's right under my name. It's Jabari Media. Please donate. Your donations go right to the show, so we can have better quality and we can continue to cover news. So without further ado, I am here with Willie Bragg, who is a friend of the show. Thank you so much, Willie, for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
My pleasure. Great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. It was very, very hectic at the job today. A lot of things that weren't in plan has happened, but we are here. We finished the work, and now we are here to talk about how crazy this country is.
I had the last 2 nights off. I went to my old college and just visiting, and I'm well relaxed and ready to get to some politics.
Yes. So I think the first thing, because I do want to talk about Iraq entering the war, northern Iraq. But before I get into that, because that's a whole thing, I wanted to start with the SAVE Act of America, which a lot of progressives and communists are calling SAVE White Supremacy Act. Exactly what it is. So for people that don't know this, the reason why they are debating this in the Senate, because it was approved in the House. Boo. The vote was 51 to 43. Please remember which Democrats were doing that, which voted for it. Also, they haven't had a date yet because they have been debating this as of March 25th, 2026. No date has been scheduled due to ongoing debate and the Democratic filibuster threat. And it's just what Bernie Sanders was saying, real quick introduction. This SAVE Act is, I guess, to guarantee that there are ain't no undocumented people, because they came up with this lie saying that undocumented people are voting. So they want to make sure people have two forms of ID, I guess is what the issue is. So say you want to get a passport. It takes a while to get a passport. And it's not cheap. I am a passport owner. A lot of black people in my community do not own passports. That's the thing. You know what I mean? And so you have to wait a scrupulous amount of time. I would say about two. I got mine in like 2 months. Sometimes people have to wait longer than that. And this SAVE Act is saying that they want voter registration to report to the DHS. And instead of it being 90 days, Willie Bragg, they are talking about shorten it to 30 days if they flag you to be able to get the correct documents. That itself is already trying to marginalize and deter people from voting. So people
Absolutely. Yeah.
recourse.
They're always talking about how Democrats are always trying to suppress the election. And and I do not believe in this Democrat Republican debate most of the time, but in this case, this is an example of Republicans trying to sabotage the elections, as they always do, because they want to keep as many of what they perceive as disenfranchised people from voting as possible, whether it's racist or whether they just see it demographically to their disadvantage. Either way, it is a form of voter suppression.
Yeah. Point blank. And we you're from the South. You live in the South. What's the closest voter ballot to you? The closest voter ballot section to you.
Let's see. Where I live is Richard B. Harrison. I think that's what it's called. High school at the gymnasium is where I vote. So probably maybe about 2 miles away.
So you're 2 miles away, which is actually that's my living up north, because I figured that you would probably have to drive a lot further away. But
I do drive there.
Yeah, and there's no transportation really.
Well, public transportation. It's a joke around the country, but definitely in the South. I mean, in the South is definitely a joke. So
people have to wait, they have to literally drive long distances just to vote. People have to literally stand in long lines just to vote. And imagine you finally make it, and then you get turned away because you don't have all the proper documents. Insane.
Yeah. And they know that Trump, and it really comes down to this. They know that Trump's policy, his Project 25 bullshit, wasn't going to be popular. They know that this is a power grab to much further to the right than the first Trump, and it makes the first Trump look docile by comparison. That this is a overreach to the far right we're approaching dictatorship territory at this point, and that's pretty much what it is. And I think that they're going to make sure that they're going to be in charge somehow at the end of the election, whether the Republicans win, which is what they're hoping, but they're going to try to make damn sure that the Republicans are in control one way or the other. And if the Democrats win, they're going to say cheating, and that's really what it's about. But they're going to try to do what they can to discourage people from voting for the Democrats. I mean, I am not a partisan Democrat. I have my candidates I'm going to be voting for. I'm going to be voting for the guy that was escorted out of the Senate building, running for the U.S. Senate, the Marine Sergeant.
I will be looking forward to contacting him and getting in touch with him when he's ready to do interviews. I saw he.
Me too. Yeah. So yeah, I'm voting green, but here's the thing: you should be allowed. They should not fuck with people when it comes to voting. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that people understand that this is absolutely I'm trying to bring up the information on Jasmine Crockett. So apologize if it looks like that. I'm looking like I'm disengaged for a second. But
You mind if I ask you
you
a
know,
question? Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. I keep hearing rumors one way or the other. Did John Fetterman vote for, or did he vote against the Save Act? I'm trying. I hear two stories, or two stories about that.
Let's see. Did John Fetterman vote for Save Act? It
I'm
says John
curious.
Fetterman did not vote for the SAVE Act, stating that he would not support it in its current state, while he supports voter ID requirements and previously appeared to back the bill in February 2026. He later clarified his opposition due to the broader uh, provisions, including potential restrictions on in mail ballots. So he's for it. He just wants the bill to be more to his liking, basically.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, the guys. I mean, what? I mean, what is your feelings on? I understand that some progressives thought this guy was going to be, you know, a good guy in some sort of form of way.
I
What do
drank
you
the
think about
Kool-Aid
him?
in 2022. I saw the Kyle Kalinske video on John Fetterman, and I thought he was going to be the next Bernie Sanders. So I drank the Kool-Aid for the time being, and then I got quickly disappointed once he got elected. So
Extra Bola say I'm voting for Pepsi. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely shown his true colors. He's a Zionist. He's not at all progressive at this point. Voter ID and this whole nonsense that they have that, oh, they brought millions of undocumented immigrants across the border so they could vote for Democratic elections. It's not true. And it never was true. That's why I was so pissed off at Jimmy Dore for having the nerve to even start using that narrative. I'm like, Jimmy, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you
he,
doing? You have resources. Do research.
well, I have been getting increasingly disappointed with Jimmy Dore lately. So just haven't been too pleased with certain things. Some things he's got a little more anti-Trump lately. That's a plus
Yes,
for him.
thank
But
God. Right.
yeah, I was getting worried about him for a while. But I mean, he's had some bad takes, and I don't mind him inviting what's his name, the guy from the guy with the beard from the Daily Wire, Matt
Oh, I
something.
don't know those kooks names.
Yeah, Matt Welsh. Okay, you don't
Oh,
mind?
okay,
Yeah,
Matt Walsh, I can believe.
yeah. Okay, you can invite him on the show, but don't act like he's a wonderful person. He's not.
Right. You
Yeah.
bring Alex Jones on, and you know, Alex Jones is a flip flopper. He's pro this, pro that. He's like, oh no, and then oh yes, and then I'm just like, bro, the dude don't even have a sense of direction.
He's just comedy relief. That I when I see Alex Jones,
Yeah, he's funny.
that's all. That's all he's okay. That's the only thing he's good for. So they make me laugh. Yeah,
Now,
because
I
he's a
think,
clown.
Willie, what do you? So, if this Save Act gets passed, let's just assume. Let's assume that it's going to happen. What we're talking ICE at the ballots, ICE agents at the ballot. We're
I
talking
fear.
about
I fear.
that's crazy. They're not going to catch anybody because only actual American citizens vote.
They're at the fucking airports now. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, this is basically Trump's personal police. And I used to, when I used to hear Trump is a fascist, Trump is a fascist, Trump is a fascist. Back, the last time he was president, I was like, okay, he's basically a knuckle dragger. I mean, he's crude, and he says mean tweets or what have you, but it's hyperbole. He sucks, obviously, but I mean, he's really turned out to be quite a dick this time, for real.
Totally agree.
Yeah. I didn't
I
suffer
gotta
from this
say,
so-called Trump derangement syndrome the last time, and
yeah,
I tell people when I get accused of Trump derangement syndrome, I'm like, I'm not that guy. And when people criticize Trump like me, it's based on fucking policies, not because
right.
I have this imaginary dislike of him. He's doing shit that I don't like, and if you do
Right.
shit I don't like, I'm not gonna like you.
Yeah,
You know,
and this will be a repeat of history because during the Reconstruction era, when there was elections, because in certain states black people were able to vote, the Union Army had to patrol where the voting was happening at. Usually, it was at bars because back in the day they used bars. For people that don't know our history, the bar was like a meeting ground a lot for communities. They voted at bars. The bars were very very useful. So the Union soldiers had to guard these places to make sure that black people were able to vote. And then during the end of Reconstruction, the white Southerners that were very pissed off ended up attacking, destroying. Um, they actually dethroned a few towns as well too, in North Carolina especially, where elected officials who were black were literally kicked out of office. So this history is definitely going to repeat itself because people don't read, people don't go look in the past, they don't. And I think right now as well too, when you look at the Jasmine Crockett race, Willie Bragg, let me show you this. You probably covered this also on your show as well too. This was a historic race, um, very historic. Millions of people, especially on the Democratic side, came out to vote. She lost the race, but it was a very big voter turnout. It shows you just how poised, and both of us are Democrat and Republican. So we're like, guys, we need a third party. We need something better than this. But it shows that people are not happy. This was a very big historic race. And she lost 45% was her vote to 53% on James. Tallarico, who was
yeah.
also a Zionist, by the way.
Yeah, I guess they're both Zionists, aren't they?
All right, they're both. Yeah, right. It was a Zionist battle.
I have a question. I do have a question regarding Jasmine Crockett. And how progressive is she? Is she like? I know she's not. I know she's not Abigail Spanberger. I know she's not Hakeem Jeffries. I know she's not that faction of the Democratic Party, and I kind of don't think she's AOC and the rest of the squad. I sort of think she's in the middle, but I don't know. Where will you put Jasmine Crockett ideologically?
Willie Bragg is trying to get me in trouble.
Oh, I'm not. I mean, you don't have
like
to.
talking about black women. But here's the thing. I feel like she wasn't going to win to begin with because she used the fact that she's a black woman and the fact that Trump attacked her as her automatic rollout when she was running for Senate. And that didn't really give this dude, James Talilaco, I keep saying his name incorrectly.
I keep getting.
He automatically attacked the issues that he wanted to focus on. He gave them an agenda. And she later on started attacking him and giving on an agenda that she wanted to give just to be short. But it was too late, I guess, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, it was still, she still got 45% of the vote. I mean, that's not close, but people came out and still voted for Jasmine Crockett. And there was millions of people that came out.
That's a big
but
chunk.
She has voted for Israel in the past. On AIPAC things. She has taken AIPAC money before in the past. I would say that she is a progressive, but she leans also on the moderate side, just to be nice. I don't really see her as a mover like a Elon Omar or a Rashida Tlaib. Like Rashida Tlaib is the type of level and further of a Democrat I would like to see. I do pay attention, people. I know I don't talk about electoral politics a lot, but I actually do pay attention to electoral politics. Because the reason why I don't cover electoral politics a lot is because I just don't believe it's going to change anything. But this election is very, very, very different from past elections.
Well, we're seeing basic democracy being put on the line right now, and even if the Democrats win, I want to make this prediction. Even if the Democrats win under the best scenario, that even if Trump doesn't pull a fascist takeover, declare the elections null and void, and the Democrats take over the Senate and the House, this is my prediction that that Trump will be impeached for the third time, and nothing's going to happen to him. There's not going to be any trial in the Senate. They'll pat him on the head, and it'll be like, well, he can't do much harm for the next 2 years. That's what I think. That's what's going to happen. And I think that might ultimately could be the outcome more than anything else.
I'm picking up a video real quick, so that's why I'm looking down. Some people will be wondering why you always looking down. I don't have corporate backers or a producer. I run this show and produce this show myself, so that's why I look down a lot.
Yeah, I'm my own producer too.
Exactly, Willie Bragg gets it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so I think that they understand. They're going to lose this election because of what's going on. A lot of people are very unhappy with all the things that are going on. So they are expecting to lose this election. So if the SAVE Act doesn't get passed, this will be their last chance because it's going to affect 3/4 of America if the SAVE Act does get passed. Everybody's going to have a hard time trying to vote. If people get deterred from voting, please document it. You know what I mean? So they can have a documentation of what's going on, proof that there is voter fraud going on. It's very important.
It's going to be probably some civil unrest, regardless of the what's going to happen. I am going to predict some civil unrest on election night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even under the best circumstances we don't believe in the two-party system, but the best case scenario is and I don't like either party, but I'm going to say it. The best case scenario is the Democrats take back the House and the Senate. I don't think the Democrats believe in anything, but not believing in anything is better than believing in fascism. That's basically what I'm going to say about that. And Republicans are, for all intents and purposes, a fascist party today. They have evolved into that, and the Democrats are basically Republicans from the 1980s. They're Republicans from the 80s that believe in abortion rights and don't hate gay people. Yeah.
It's just very, very odd that how much I gotta say for this last point on this, that the Republicans' tenacity, sometimes you wish the other side had. You know what I mean? They attacked Medicare for all 24/7. I mean, there's probably a Republican right now still trying to bring up a bill to try to repeal Medicare for all. Like, not Medicare for all, excuse me. They attacked Obamacare. Excuse me about that. So 24/7, there's probably a Republican right now that's looking to attack Obamacare again. And you would think they'll do it now because they have majority, but they can't. I wish there was Democrats, and this is the reason why a lot of people left them, that had the same tenacity where they don't give up and they keep pushing very strong left-leaning bills that can move this country forward and take this country out of the neglect and the poor worker rights, everything. And just go down the line. Women losing their abortion rights, women being targeted for healthcare, trans people being targeted on their healthcare. Just if we had that same tenacity in another party, so much could be done. So much could be done, but they choose not to, and they stalemate.
And I think the problem with why people don't exit out of the Democratic Party, they get mixed signals from the Democratic Party, because in some states, the Democratic Party is better than other states. I mean, I I did not vote for. I mean, I voted for Joe Stein. I did not vote for Kamala Harris, but I will be on the level with you. If I would have voted for Kamala Harris, my vote for Kamala Harris would have been based on Tim Walz, because as a governor, he was a pretty damn good governor. He's probably the best governor, objectively, policy wise. He's not perfect, but he's probably the best governor in this country. And my point is that he's done wonderful things in Minnesota. I wish that other Democrats could follow his example. And in that regard, but so you get mixed signals. Some Democrats do wonderful things in their state, and then there's some Democrats that are still in that old Clintonista formula, and that's and there's a saying, insanity is repeating the same shit over and over again, expecting the same results. That's the Democratic Party in a nutshell. They still think it's 1992, and they're looking for their next Clinton, and and I feel like that's where the Democratic Party is.
Yeah. And, and on that note, I want to share an article about Hakeem Jeffries because you mentioned him. You mentioned him earlier. There is a article that I believe that is very, very good to talk about with this guy. And, I have, as a black man, I have definitely paid close attention to this brother, especially him having his district in New York City. Hakeem Jeffries, for people that don't know, Hakeem Jeffries was a very progressive, Pan-African thinking man. His uncle Leonard Jeffries criticized Zionism very strongly. He was anti-Israel. He was pro-Palestinian. And here we have his nephew just taking AIPAC money like it's a like it's a trick, baby. He pro-Israel. He endorsed Jesse Torres, who loves Netanyahu. You know what I mean? This man is the total opposite on how he was raised. And he gets no excuse for that because he knows for a fact that he is a contradiction of what he was in the past. He was very pro-black. He wore dashikis. He talked about black liberation. And then, you get in the Democratic Party, they give you a few millions of dollars. You pro-colonial now, my guy. You a house nigga. I'm just going to say it. He's Speaker of the House. You a house nigga. You Speaker. Let's stop.
Wow.
That's my feeling about Hakeem Jeffries. I'm sorry.
I just had a memory. I just had a flashback. He's related to the Professor Leonard Jeffries, the same Leonard Jeffries that Alan Dershowitz, when Alan Dershowitz was quote unquote a liberal years ago, criticized for being supposedly anti-Semitic when he was anti-Zionist, but difference. But anyway, he's really wow. That's crazy.
That's his nephew.
I never made the connection. I almost forgot about Leonard Jeffries. I didn't know he was related to him. Yeah, I remember that controversy years ago. Alan Dershowitz acted like he was going nuts.
Yep. And the good thing about this is that my feelings is not only, reciprocated by progressives and communists, but there are Democratic leadership like me, Veng, who are also against having him run for either Speaker of the House or becoming the Speaker of the Senate, wherever they call that position. She has been quoted by Axios. My Veng, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. I'm saying her name correctly.
It sounds correct to me.
Okay, my Veng, the leading progressive primary challenger to Rep. Doris Masto. I hate
that. Sounds correct to me too. That's how it is.
Democratic California previously said, and she would support the person that my future colleagues elect as our leader, but in an unprompted statement last week, she said She told Axios, the Democratic Party and its leadership, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, have failed to mobilize meaningful opposition to Trump's illegal war, and their silence as AIPAC and corporations flood congressional primaries with millions of dollars is defying. I cannot support this kind of leadership. If we want to defeat Trump and rebuild trust with American workers, we need new leadership and new direction. A lot of Democrats in the House are agreeing with this as well too. So he has opposition. A lot of Democrats do not believe that he is the guy.
Yeah.
But who can they replace him with? I mean, I get it. You make this statement and you have somebody better. That's my issue with Democrats right there. You're saying this, but you got nobody better. So what are we going to do with this?
All we have to do is look at history. There was a time Nancy Pelosi was the AOC of the Democratic Party. 30 years ago, she was their AOC. She ran on Medicare for All in 1996, got elected to Congress, and she was seen as, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi, she's the scary leftist. And now she's turned into Hillary Clinton, and she's trying to turn AOC into Nancy Pelosi / Hillary Clinton, and we've seen the evolution with AOC. And I feel bad because I have a soft spot for AOC, but I have to call bullshit on her too a whole lot. You know?
Well, thank you for being honest. A lot of people, they try to look past the flaws, and I get it. They're afraid of, not her not doing the right thing, but I know y'all see the flaws.
I mean, yeah, she's turning into AOC's turning into Nancy Pelosi, who turned into Hillary Clinton, and I am so tired of saying that. We've seen Elizabeth Warren turn into Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's
a big example.
It's just so sad, And
no one as bad as Tulsi Gabbard. No, Tulsi Gabbard took a total 360.
Oh, I saw Ron Placone talking about Tulsi Gabbard recently, and he stated how we all got duped by her, and I am so fucking embarrassed how I defended her for years. I am so embarrassed.
Okay,
yeah,
it's okay, man. It's all right. Willie,
she's a charming liar. She's a charming liar.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, and this focus on new leadership for the Democratic Party. I like that they're talking about that. The corporate Democrats, they do nothing. Chuck Schumer writes letters now. He writes so many letters. I just think that he thinks that he's the greatest letter writer that there ever is at this point.
I can't stand Chuck Schumer.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And you're a Zionist. So what? What? These two people didn't even want to vote for Madani. Not vote. They didn't want to endorse Madani. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. They didn't even want to endorse him. But they'll endorse a Zionist just like that. Oh, you an AIPAC, bro? Got you. No problem with that.
Yeah. Did he endorse Madani or did he endorse Andrew Cuomo? Schumer.
I believe Schumer endorsed Cuomo. Let's check.
Okay. I that will make sense. So that puts Cuomo basically on the same side with Elon Musk and Trump, and
Right.
I'm sure Hillary Clinton probably endorsed Andrew Cuomo too. So.
Let's check. Yes. Chuck Schumer endorsed Andrew Cuomo for the New York City mayoral election. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he also said that the reason why he's a Democrat is because he wants to keep the left pro-Israel. He said that. So let's check Schumer.
Those days are over. Those days are over. Even the Soviets realized that by 1953.
Those days are absolutely over.
Yeah.
The Democrats, I do like that they're talking about new direction, but it's too late.
Oh, by the way, inside Israel, A lot of people don't know this. The two left-wing parties in Israel merged, the Labor Party and Meretz, and they came up with an awful name. You know what they are now called?
What?
The Democrats.
Wait, no, you're for real? They called it something.
Swear to God, yes. They merged. I mean, they still got like 5 or 6 Labor MPs in the Knesset, but when the next election comes, there'll be the Democrats because the Labor Party and the Meretz Party and a couple of left wing parties all merged to become the Democrats. They joined the Socialist International. They're now the center left entity inside Israel.
Sound like some Menshevik shit, but whatever. You know, I think it's important that we do talk about the mindset of Israel. It looks bad. It looks very bad. From soldiers committing suicide, so they do not have to fight anymore, committing suicide after they are done with their deployment, bombs 24/7 hitting them, while Mr. President of the United States makes a speech like this. Let's prop the speech up. Yep. It'll be my speech. Okay, here it is. Here it is, right.
Negotiations with the Iranians.
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. They're pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free.
It's a delusional.
When you do a quick delusional is so correct. When you do a quick Google search while the president is saying this, let's do a quick Google search. What do you find? Oh, Iran has constantly denied engaging in direct or indirect negotiations with the United States. So is he talking to himself?
Yeah.
Like, is he sitting in the room talking to himself?
He's a delusional little man baby. I mean, he's really the most stupid man that's ever sat in the White House. And so it's no wonder we ended up in Iran. He got manipulated into this.
Why do you say manipulated? Do you say it as like they manipulated him into believing that he was going to win, or they just tricked him all the way into doing it? Because he been wanting to do this.
Like, well, I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of blackmail. It's a combination of some neocons.
Oh.
There's a combination of some neocons in there. And when you have people like Pete, when you had Christian Zionist neocons like Pete Hegseth in there, and then you end up having social influencers like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro cheering you on, and not that I want to praise Tucker and Candace and all that, but I mean, they started to become a stop clock, given the right time twice a day on this shit. I think that he got kind of manipulated, and also every president's BB's bitch. So I mean that's nothing unusual. So, but they got some extra shit on Trump. And that's what it comes down to. And so BB basically told Trump, "I got some shit on you, and you better play ball with me, or you're going to be very embarrassed."
This is an elected official. That's funny. This is an elected official whose name escapes me, but I'm pretty sure people Google this quote. But he said that BB's been looking for a dumb president for a long time to do this war. He asked Obama, he asked Biden, you know what I mean? He asked Bush. Bush, I thought would have been crazy enough to do it, but Bush had other things in mind. You know, he wanted to protect his father, apparently. They tried to come after my father. You know what I
Well,
mean? To kill a
as much
million
as
people in Iraq.
as much as I hated Bush, he did have some grown up in his administration that's lacking in this administration here, and I think that's what it came down to as well. You know, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a little man baby that got manipulated and blackmailed, and you know, yeah, Netanyahu's been wanting this war for the past 40 years. I mean, and he's the
He was
reason.
excited when it happened. He said, for 40 years. He was, you know what I mean?
And he's the reason why we ended up in Iraq. And I tell people, you know, listening to Benjamin Netanyahu is going to get us unalive as a human civilization. It's going to get the human civilization extinct. We keep listening to this guy.
So Iraq has entered the war. We have a little
Important about
coverage
this one is that we understand that the 7 people killed are military personnel, not members of the Popular Mobilization Forces. The Popular Mobilization Forces have factions within it, armed factions which are aligned to Iran, and there has been an ongoing battle between those factions and the United States. Those factions have targeted US bases, assets, interests, and the United States has targeted them in return. But this time, this is a military facility belonging to the Iraqi military. We understand from the authorities here, 7 Iraqi military personnel have been killed and a number have been injured. Now, we have heard condemnations from Baghdad condemning this attack, condemning the previous attack against the Popular Mobilization Forces. And this is playing out in this country, where this country has been dragged into this widening regional conflict. We have seen US airstrikes in Anbar. We have seen them in Mosul. We have seen them here in Baghdad targeting the PMF. We have seen armed Iraqi factions targeting positions in northern Iraq, in the Kurdistan region. And what we're seeing is how this country is trying to maintain order, but it's become a battlefield for others.
Now I want to give a little pushback to the esteemed journalist from Al Jazeera. By the way, Al Jazeera, I believe, does great work when it comes to covering Palestine and a lot in the Middle East. I think that they do not do as much great work when it comes to covering the Eastern Bloc of Europe, but that's a different conversation for another time. Iraq has been wanting to kick out the Americans for a long time. The only allies that America actually has is Kurdish Iraq. The Kurds are the only ones. So much that when Iraq attacked the base, they had the Americans flee to Kurdish Iraq. They are not around anywhere else right now, from my understanding. I will look and make sure that my research is correct. But no, Iraq is poised for this war because, you know, you have Lebanon, Hezbollah getting involved. You have the greatest power in the Middle East, which is Iran, getting involved. And then this is a perfect chance for Iraq to liberate themselves because they kicked out NATO. NATO left. NATO doesn't want to get involved in any of this. Why would Iraq not attack? Is my question. Why should we be surprised that northern Iraqis attacked? I wish they would explain that part, but it's okay. It's all right. You can't get it all. Right? Can't get it all.
I guess it's just a matter of time before we all realize where it's officially. I guess it's not World War III until the ink runs dry. You know. Yeah. I mean, that's what, you know, just, I mean, I guess you want to debate whether it's World War III or not. I don't know, but, you know, it's just a lot of shit doesn't have to happen. And I did not know that Iraq entered the war. That's the thing right there.
That just happened. That just happened within the last 24 hours, from my understanding.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's some heavy shit. Wow.
Yeah, I know. We spent what 10 years terrorizing them, and now here we are again back at war with Iraq.
Oh, I got to hear Lindsey Graham rattle his sabers again.
Do you have the clip on you? You can play it if you want. You should
Oh, I
be
don't
able
have
to
any
play
clips.
it.
I try not to
Oh,
listen.
okay.
I try not to listen to Lindsey Graham. I don't have to.
But
If I want to keep my blood pressure low, I have high
but
blood
what I was
pressure.
going to say, Willie Bragg, is that like a lot when you see what they accuse Iran of doing, the Middle East puppets are doing. You know what I mean? They say that Bibi came out and he blamed Mossad for telling him that the Iranians were going to uprise and take over their government, and they haven't done that. Instead, they have been, a lot of them, as much as the media like to say that's not true, a lot of them has been pro the government and been staying outside protesting, not afraid of the missiles. These videos are everywhere. They're trying to say that that's not what the case is. And then when you see Iran attack military bases and infrastructures that American own, or if the American soldiers are there all around the Gulf state, you see Gulf state citizens celebrating because they hate their monarchies that run the Gulf states. It's really like reverse on what the way they see things. It's not real.
But I tell people from a historical perspective, had the dirty CIA not toppled the government of Mohammed Mossadegh, can never pronounce his name correctly, in 1953.
I thought it was Musada, but it probably is Musada Deck.
Yeah,
I can't pronounce it either.
yeah. Point being, basically, I mean, it was a secular socialist state, and and I mean, honestly, it was not even. They said it was a communist government. I sort of think it was a Middle
I don't think it
Eastern.
was.
I think
Yeah.
it was a Middle Eastern social democratic government.
Right.
It was. They nationalized the oil companies. Big deal. Norway nationalizes the oil company. I don't think they did anything any more dangerous than what they perceive what goes on in Norway. And
Right.
so just they. Because I guess because it borders the Soviet Union, and maybe because he had friendly ties, and he was just not wanting to be an asshole to the Soviet Union. They were like, okay, we got to go and put in the Shah. And and I would hear people tell me how much things were better under the Shah until the Ayatollah came about in 1979, the Iranian Revolution. I tell them, well, the Ayatollah was a supporter of the Shah in the early days. I don't know what happened, what broke the relationship, but I know he was a supporter in the early days.
Yeah, the Shah was brutal. I don't understand. Like this new generation doesn't know, and I think they play off of that. But if you look up the Shah's atrocities on Google, now you don't even have to go to the library or nothing. Google will tell you how brutal that man was. So I don't understand why Western Iranians are using him as an answer or saying, "Oh, we should put the Senator Shah in."
Because it's a
He
long
got
time ago.
overthrown because he was brutal. That's the
Those are-
reason why he was overthrown.
It's a long time ago. And the average American, they because they didn't have social media, and I can understand the average American 40 years ago looking back, and because perception, it was deceptive, because Iran did look like a democratic secular society, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
It
One thing
really,
about the Shah that I would say that I agree with, he was anti-Israel. He did not agree with Israel expanding their borders. I will give him that. That's it.
okay. I wasn't sure where he stood on Israel, but
Yeah.
okay.
No, he was not in agreement. He wasn't.
Okay. I figured there would have probably been some kind of an uneasy relationship or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that when the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt was signed, I don't particularly think that either Menachem Begin or Anwar Sadat exactly loved each other, but they were, they signed the damn treaty anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing a different Israel. I gotta say, because that Israel in the past, they were seasoned there was seasoned World War II veterans, so they understood how to conduct war. They were efficient. When they were invaded by almost all the Gulf states, they were able to defeat them. You don't see that kind of Israel today. You know what I mean? It seems like they're uncalculated, miscalculated. It seems that their strategies is brute force only, and it only works on little like militias. You know what I mean? Like Hamas is not that as powerful as Iran. You know what I mean? And
Well,
they underestimated Hezbollah greatly.
I'm going to make a prediction. I think it's a matter of time before they cease to be a country because a lot of people have moved out of the country. A lot of people,
and that's another thing. Yep.
Yeah, they've been exiting out of the country, and so what you're going to see left is a lot of the ultra religious folks that are not really going to know how to handle a lot of the technology that it takes to run society, what have you. I mean, I'm not saying they're stupid, but they don't know how to. They're not going to know how to fly the planes. They're not going to handle a lot of the high tech military or whatever. They're just going to bungle it up. I mean, it's going to be made almost easy to for them to be crushed as a state. And I was listening to Scott Ritter about a week ago on George Galloway's show, and he said something that made me feel a little bit better. That he thinks that Israel not only will cease to exist, that even under pressure, they might not even use a nuke because they will be in a position where they can't use a nuke, and that there will be a negotiation between the United States, Israel, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, where the nuclear arms will be taken out of the country as the country collapses or something. It was something along, I cannot exactly remember, but he doesn't think it's going to result in some kind of nuclear exchange. He feels pretty confident about that, and I kind of do value his assessment on things, and that made me feel a little bit better knowing that
it's a little different from what everyone else was saying, but he does make sense in that. But I also think that Iran, I also think Iran is going to prevent them from being able to shoot a nuclear warhead in the first place because they hit Duma twice. And Duma is where their nuclear warheads are at. So they're showing that even if you try to shoot these motherfuckers, we're going to make sure you can't shoot these motherfuckers. Like Iran definitely is well calculated in this, in their striking. I got to give it to them. So it might be what Scott Ritter says, because he definitely has a really good analysis on that. Or Iran might just make them incapable of even launching a nuclear warhead. Or they'll launch it. Pakistan will launch theirs, and then everybody will launch. I don't want the last part.
Yeah. I don't want anybody. I don't want any fucking body launching any nukes at all. I mean, and I tell Zionists when I hear Zionists say they want to drop a bomb on Gaza, I said, "Are you
they act like they can live through that? Right?
Are you fucking stupid? Do you realize that radiation is going to travel into fucking Israel, and some of you people are going to die too?
You're next door, you idiots. You're going to nuke yourself. If you nuke Gaza, you nuke yourself. It's that simple. You fucking dumbass.
Fat ass Randy Fine has said that shit. You know that. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I can't stand that.
We have just such crazy people a part of the senior leadership of this country, and it's just, they're going to look back on this 100 years and look at us like, these motherfuckers thought that they were the leaders of the real world, of the free world. Like people, like I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like they're gonna be a class on America, and they're gonna be like, America was a wild nation, It was the most armed population in the world, which is crazy. I didn't even know that we were the most armed population in the world. They waged wars. They used to build beautiful infrastructure. They used to be able to go out to all these other countries and build great things, and then they got crazy. They felt like their power was going away, so they started going to war with everybody. This dude named Bibi Netanyahu was like, "Hey, while y'all at it, Trump, how about you come over here and get it with us too?" So now Bibi feels safe because he got the American soldiers helping him out, and then something happened. Iran or Russia, China, one of them, they said, "Nope, enough of this," and they ended it. They gave them a serious defeat. They had to run back with their tails behind their back. With they, the saying, whatever. And America became embarrassed, and that was the end of the American empire. That's what I think was going to happen. They had no choice but to win this, because if they don't, this is the end of the American empire. We are seeing the collapse right now.
Well, I said
What do
this
you
on my
think?
birthday live stream. I had Jen Perlman and Peter Hager on my show from Revolutionary Change. And I said, we're talking about when the British Empire ended. I said, they got healthcare out of this. What are we going to get? They got healthcare out of this. Here's the thing about the whole Zionism thing. There was an actual alternative to Zionism, and this fascinates me. I just want to know your take on this. Are you familiar with the Oblast Federation in Russia?
Oh no.
Yeah, Oblast Federation was set up. It was in 1934. It was supposed to be like a Soviet alternative to Zionism. It was like an enclave that borders China. It was supposed to be a community where Jewish people were to settle, where they could feel safe, and that was supposed to be like a Soviet alternative to Zionism. And so that was like competing with the Zionism in Palestine that was going on. And the plans was to turn it into a Soviet socialist republic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, but
Yeah.
that does make sense because they have done that before. I mean, they created Ukraine.
Yeah.
People don't like when people say that, but that's absolutely true. They
But it is true.
they drew
That
up the
is true.
borders of Ukraine and they created Ukraine. Ukraine was a part of Poland and it was shared with Russia, but they created Ukraine. So I won't be surprised if that is something they were doing. I would definitely need to look into that because that's some history that I should know already.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in the long run, that would have, if they would have gone that route, I think that that whole Middle Eastern situation, the whole idea of planting a new society on top of an existing society, that's really fucked up, I mean, and yes, of course, it's a tragedy what happened in Germany. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
But there was
And the
there was a way,
Europeans felt bad apparently.
yeah, and there was a way to do reparations without
Right.
displacing Palestinians.
Exactly. The
Yeah,
British is the cause of all this.
you got
At
the
the end of
Balfour
the day,
Declarations and all of that. Yeah,
yeah. And then the UN created it, and it was also the Soviet Union had also voted as well too in agreement to
yeah.
put a state called Israel as well too. Yeah,
But they
and
did
this
it
is the
for
only country in the entire world that was created by the UN, and you see how they treat the UN. It's so funny. They got the audacity to talk shit about the UN when they would not even exist if the UN didn't put them in.
very true.
Just so disrespectful.
Very true. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. There's some good news that you can criticize Israel today, and this whole thing. Well, you're anti-Semitic. Doesn't hold. It doesn't hold water like it used to. It
No,
doesn't
because
hold
people
water.
see through the BS.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad though, Willie, because there are some anti-Semitic people around here. Straight up.
I mean, obviously, yeah. And I'll say this: I denounce anything. I denounce any prejudice at all. I mean, absolutely.
Right.
But you know what? Christian Zionism is a form of bigotry.
Yes.
It's a form of it's probably the worst Zionism. It's probably the worst form of Zionism because not only is it
It is.
anti
I agree.
Muslim, it's anti-Jewish too because
It is.
in their twisted ideology, the second coming of Christ, there's not going to be any more Jews.
Right. Twisted
Yeah.
eye is so weird. And for people to know that majority of Zionists are Christian.
Mhm.
Only 40% of the Jewish population, the whole diaspora, only 40% are Zionists. The rest of 60% oppose Zionism because Zionism isn't a religious background. It's a political ideology. That's all it is. It's not a part of their faith. You know what I mean? Atheists, Jewish atheists created Zionism. So it never even like
I lost a 20-year friendship over Israel with a friend of mine. He was always pro-Israel, but he went like right wing overnight, and we could not reconcile over Israel. He basically told me to fuck off. So, and
that's awful.
Yeah, he was pissed off with me, but it kind of hurt because he was actually an okay guy. He just went crazy.
Extra Bola. Yes, definitely. Hate is coming after our regular ass Jews. Yes, definitely. And so we got to be mindful of that. And I think we are, but we got to be mindful of what pages that we follow, because a lot of them, I'm noticing that there's a good amount that are anti-Semitic compared to the ones that are not anti-Semitic, that are just anti-Zionist. We got to follow the anti-Zionist pages, not the anti-Semite pages, because it's really you don't want to get it mixed. You don't want to mix it up in between at all.
Yeah, I tell people to be careful with the Nick Fuenteses of the world.
Oh God, yes. If you're listening to Nick Fuentes, God, you're anti-Semite. You are the lie.
He's an ass clown. He's like Alex Jones. You can find humor in him, but he's an ass clown, and he's dangerous to take seriously.
Very dangerous.
Yeah,
very dangerous. Oh, Tucker. Speaking of danger, Tucker Carlson. Last point before we close. His fame is rising. It's rising.
Yes, it is.
It's to the level that not only am I hearing that he's real popular, but they're saying that if he runs for president, he can win. I would love to hear your take on that.
I don't know. I actually don't. I don't think he will run for president, to tell you the truth. But that is an interesting conjecture about him running. Tucker Carlson running for president. But you're right about him rising. And he is making inroads right now, because he has this independent streak about him that is appealing to a lot of people. And he's got some odious views, and he doesn't come across as particularly hateful, which is what makes it even scarier. So I would tell people, if he's correct on something, acknowledge him as a stop clock, given the right time twice a day, and just go on with your life. And Ron Placone has been saying that lately too. I've been seeing his posts on it, and he's been kind of calling out people, telling them, stop the left washing of Tucker Carlson, the left washing of Candace Owens, to stop the left washing of Marjorie Taylor Greene, just because they are having moments of clarity as of late.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. You can hear me. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Tucker, Candace Owens is also an issue too. I'm noticing a lot of people liking her. Extra Bola says, I don't watch none of those motherfuckers. Because, at the end of the day, like their agenda is not the progressive and communist and socialist agenda. They still have a big bigotry in their heart. And the bigotry in their heart is that they want a white Christian nationalist country. They want that. Just because they're questioning Israel, you know what I mean? And Candace Owens' questioning of Israel is a lot more barbaric and anti-Semitic compared to Tucker Carlson's questioning of Israel. In my understanding, I have to pay attention to these people because I need to know what they're talking about. I gotta know what the right wingers are talking about as well too. So not because I have to listen to them, but the thing is, I listen to them in bites. I see a little bite. I don't watch their show. I don't contribute to giving them a view. But Tucker Carlson, his view on Israel, I think that's what's giving people a lot of attention because, that last segment where I guess he sat down with an official from the EU. She does look like somebody from the EU. I hope I'm correct on that. I need to go fact check. The question of does Israel have the right to exist? And he basically paraphrasing his long soliloquy. It was like, oh, but no one ever asked, does Lebanon has a right to exist? Does Gaza have a right to exist? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, how about we ask, do the people who healthcare get slashed in this country, do they have a right to exist? Do the people that get pushed out of a community, a neighborhood that they have lived in for decades, raised kids in, do they have a right to exist in that community? Do they have a right to exist in that neighborhood? You know what I mean? Like the whole right to exist is like trying to make you feel that you being against Israel makes you think that, they should not exist. Jewish people should have a homeland, period. No one is saying that. No one's saying that. What we're saying is that, okay, if you're going to exist, follow like being moral. Follow this country had an apartheid. We had no choice but to have to a one state solution. Black people, Puerto Rican people, everybody, white people, we all have no choice but to live together. You can't be sitting here, Israel, saying, oh, no Palestinians allowed over here. Oh, Palestinians got to go through checkpoints. We could go and kill Palestinians as much as we want. And if you think I can't go and kill a Palestinian, then you're anti-Semitic. No, Israel, you don't have the right to do that. You can't do that. And then you get mad. Oh, you trying to say I don't have a right to exist. Oh, but does Palestinians have a right to exist? Well, there is no well. There is no well. Like, it's the most stupidest question. And I hate that he's getting clout off of that. Because the motherfucker's tricking people.
I see the hypocrisy in that argument about Israel, in that regard, because this is the identity politics that the right wing will complain about on the left, but they turn around and use it themselves.
Right?
They turn around and use it themselves. Now, in Tucker Carlson's case, I have a theory on him, and I think that I know why they fired him from Fox News a couple of years ago. And I'm not defending Tucker Carlson, but he did one thing he did one good story on Fox News. And the one good story he did on Fox News, he got fired right away. He defended the Uhuru movement when they were, detained by the U.S. Department of Injustice over
that gave them a lot of
Russian ties.
Right. And they got a lot of recognition off of that interview.
And I say, good for him for covering it. And I think Fox News said, hey, you're making the left look like victims. We don't allow that here on Fox News. You're out of here, buddy. I think that's what happened to them.
Yeah. And I interviewed the head, the chairman of the Uhuru movement, also on my show before Tucker Carlson did. But I didn't get as much views as Tucker Carlson, of course, because he gets like 3 million views. But yeah, I interviewed him before Tucker Carlson did, which was pretty cool. He was a great guy, charismatic, passionate. You could tell that he believes in liberation. He believes in the struggle. He believes in the movement. I really, truly adored the opportunity sitting down with that brother and having a conversation. People don't know about the Hoover 3. Please check out what happened to the Hoover 3 because it's so important. Alex Suarez, who was my co-host and also a producer of the show friend of the show as well too. He was a part of the Huru, which is why I was able to get that interview. He knew him personally, so great. It was very, very. I really am happy that they're not going to prison. Like, I'm happy because that was just so uncalled for, and that's the hypocrisy as well too, because they're using the Russian thing, saying, "Oh, you didn't sign the FARA, all stuff." When you get APAC money and you deal with Israel, you don't have to sign up the FARA to let the United States know that you're getting foreign funding and you're doing business outside the country. You don't have to do it, but whatever other country you have to do it for some reason. It's absolutely ridiculous. The contradictions.
One thing that they have accused Trump of that he's not guilty of is the Russian ties. I never believed that.
Yeah.
I had never believed that.
They still try to bring that up. Isn't it funny how they still try to bring that up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do that with Jill Stein. When some people give me shit when I voted for Jill Stein, oh, she's tied with Vladimir Putin. I mean, and even they even tied Bernie Sanders, tried tying Bernie Sanders with Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
So I mean, this whole Russiagate thing is, and I tell people on the left, you do this Russiagate thing, it's going to bite the left in the ass eventually. Don't think that the Trump administration and some of the right wingers will use this against the left down the road. They'll be saying that Russia is funding Antifa or something at some point.
Oh God! I mean, they already tried to do the Black Lives Matter thing, but they didn't stick. So hilarious. No. Like they need a boogeyman. But the issue is that as much as we are communicating around the world and how strong social media is right now, no matter how much they try to stop it, like what happened with TikTok, we already have these ties. We're already communicating around the world. So their propaganda isn't sticking as strong as they want it to be. They're failing because they don't know how to control social media. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing. Because we didn't have that in the past.
Here's the thing about it is, YouTube and Twitter and all the social media, they'll try to ban and deplatform and all of that. But on the bright side, you have what's the up scroll, and then you have all these other platforms that are popping up, and they're going to. They may not be as big as these other platforms, but they're around, and they're going to keep the line of communications open. So we'll go into these other platforms, and we'll get reacquainted with each other, and we'll start re-networking with each other again on these other platforms, and they'll just keep on going on over and over until people realize, you don't fuck with the First Amendment of content makers.
Yep. And it's just hilarious because they accuse China of like trying to steal your data. Well, you guys sell our data. It's a $1 billion business at this point now. Oh, they're censoring their content. They're not letting you put whatever you want on. That's absolutely not true because I actually have a Red Note account, which is actually based in China, and I don't have those issues. But what I do have issues is how my videos were getting taken down on TikTok when y'all had the new administration come up. And what I do have issues is how my videos be getting taken down on YouTube. Whenever I have a great interview that it reveals some shit, y'all want to take it down. How do I know? Because when I interviewed Justin Bacano, who was a Green Party member running for against not Nancy Pelosi, Rosa DeLauro, you took that down. When I had a Matthew Ho interview with Matthew Ho talking about how he was literally getting threatened by the Democratic Party, not only getting threatened, but they were sabotaging his ballot and trying to say it's not true, and they tried to put him in court and try to stop him from running. You took that video down, YouTube. So you're talking about China, but I don't think y'all don't see the contradictions.
Exactly.
You accusing them of things that you actually do. And I'm going to keep saying that until I'm blue in the face.
Like, for example, this isolating Cuba, the way that they're tightening on Cuba.
Starving Cuba, literally.
And I'm glad these other countries are coming around saying, fuck you, Trump. We're going to go help Cuba anyway. No matter what you think about
starving Taiwan. If China was starving Taiwan right now, how big would the uproar be?
It would you'd be hearing it all over the place about it. I mean, you definitely be hearing it from Fox News. They'll never shut the fuck up about it, you know.
Literally.
But with Cuba, I mean, here's the thing, Cuba. You know what? Can you criticize anything? Any government? You can criticize any government you want. No government's perfect anywhere.
As much
But
as
you know
want
what?
to get blue in the face.
Cuba has not executed anybody since 1987. Cuba has been increased. They've been expanding civil liberties. They changed the constitution. They used to be socially conservative on LGBTQ issues, and that now they are pro LGBTQ in every profound way. Whereas the United States is trying to roll back rights all over the place. Exactly. And it's looking like that Cuba is surpassing the United States on free speech. We have less free speech under the Trump presidency. We're engaging in serious censorship right now, that more than I've ever seen ever. And I'm so tired of these right wingers talking about how they support free speech. Free speech, my ass.
Yeah, and the decline in Caribbean countries in Medicare is showing because Cuban doctors have to leave because they can't sustain because of the strangulation. So Jamaica is having a decline in their care. Venezuela lost their doctors, so they're going to have a decline in their care. All over. Even in South Africa, they have Cuban doctors in South Africa. All over Africa, there are Cuban doctors. You know what I mean? They helped put an end to the AIDS epidemic. You know what I mean? They were there for Italy when Italy had COVID, and they helped Italy out during COVID. You know what I mean? The Cuban doctors deserve, not just the Cuban doctors, Cuba deserves to be respected. Cuba has given so much to this world. And the fact that this world can't save Cuba because of the United States of America is very sad. I had Dan Kovalik on here. He's a good friend of mine at this point, because he has been on the show multiple times. And Dan Kovalik talks about how Cuba has helped South Africa in such a way where no one was willing to stop the apartheid in South Africa. And when South Africa apartheid government was going into Angola to invade Angola, why were they going to invade Angola? Because they wanted to expand and they wanted to make Angola an apartheid state that they can control. You know, same thing was going on with Zimbabwe. You know, Elon Musk, daddy was a part of the mining there. He controlled the mining. He was exploiting Zimbabweans of their resources. You know, Fidel Castro sent an army into Angola and they defeated the South Africans. The Germans couldn't even defeat the South Africans. You know what I mean? So when Nelson Mandela left, when he got out of prison, Fidel Castro was the first person that he visited and thanked him for sending his military to liberate South Africa. Not one Westerner, no matter how much they try to twist the story, they could never take away the true history of what Cuba has done for Africa. They could never take it away, no matter how much they try to twist the story. There is videos of Westerners literally trying to white-splain to Nelson Mandela himself that Fidel's this, Fidel's that. And watch what Nelson Mandela says in response to them. Watch what he says. To this day, you would never tell an African that Cuba was the most evilest empire on the planet. Because they wasn't.
I remember when he was released from prison in 1990, and while I was on the left in 1990, I was I had a little more the basic anti-communism thing going on back then. But even back then, when people criticized Nelson Mandela for being friends with Fidel Castro and being friends with Yasser Arafat and being friends with Muammar Gaddafi, you know what I said to them? I said, because they were willing to help in the struggle against apartheid, while the Reagan administration was actually backing the apartheid government. So those guys were right to fight against apartheid, and the U.S. government was wrong to prop up the apartheid regime. So
Right.
So
Right.
even back then, when my politics was a little more normie oriented, I recognized that back then. So
Yeah, because you can't take away the facts. You can't, and people would love to throw away what doesn't fit their narrative and pretend that did not exist. It was Cuba that saved South Africa. America let South Africa stay apartheid. America didn't care.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
also Israel had a huge partnership with the South African apartheid state. Not to mention, they built nukes together with each other after Israel went and stole materials from us. They went and built nukes together with each other. People should read up on that history. On
And
how
it's
birds of a feather flock together.
And I remember in 1986, I mean, it took the United States kicking and screaming until they decided to reluctantly push the sanctions on South Africa. I mean, it was, they were like kicking, screaming, like they didn't want to do it. Reagan did not want to do it, but he finally got pressured into doing it. So, and then Reagan was kind of trying to be magnanimous, as if, he helped bring down the apartheid government, just like he was. Yeah, I was like, please give me a break.
Just like Trump. I ended the war between India and Pakistan, and then India and Pakistan, they say, no, he actually did it. Reagan. I ended the apartheid in South Africa. No, you actually did it. A cigar smoking Cuban did.
Exactly.
No, know your role and shut your mouth.
Actually, I remember buying a bunch of Cuban cigars when I was in London. I was like, I said, I said that at the smoke shop. I said, I'm going to say fuck you to the United States with this. You can't buy Cuban shit. So,
yeah, man. All right, Willie. I don't want to take more of your time. As you guys can see, man, I love Willie Bragg. We can talk forever.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Shout out your show. Shout out your show. Please, guys, like, share this video out. I see we had a really good audience here. I love that people were watching. Please like, share this video. Like this video. It definitely helps in the algorithm. Let people know that you like Jabari Media, and please watch Willie Bragg TV. Congratulations again on getting 1,000 subscribers, my brother.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a struggle, but finally did. Finally made it with a little perseverance. I haven't been streaming much because I've been very tired lately. I mean, I've been having some issues and everything like that, and nothing bad. It's just I just been.
Sometimes you need a break.
Yeah, work's been overloading on me. So
yeah,
so that's what he said. Working class people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, literally.
Yeah. But
awesome.
I'll be actually live streaming tomorrow. I'm having a guest myself tomorrow.
I'll make sure I tune in and share as well too. Make sure.
So I'm having Ellen Jimerson on the show tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right.
And
well,
thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll definitely get you back on again. So everybody, please like, share, comment. Smash that like button, please, and donate to my Cash App, Jabari Media. If you like what you're hearing, and if Willie Bragg has a donating spot on his show as well too, please, like, share, comment, and donate on Willie Bragg's show as well too. Thank you so much. Make sure I'll add the link in the description, because I noticed I didn't put the link in the description. So I'll make sure I put the link in the description if you're not already a subscriber to Willie Bragg. Thank you, Willie. You have a good night, my brother. And to everybody out there, have a really good night too.
Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion, you gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?